Witness the beauty of the world we have created. Humanity's chance to repent.
Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you.
Saving your people will not bring you peace. Only make the burden you carry worse.
For millennia we have survived, made others sacrifice in the name of our prosperity. Who are you, a human, to defy our traditions?
Who would seek to stop this.
You nothing but a usurper. A false idol.
The only thing they fear is you.
Where the legend of the Slayer began.
Today.
So
Hey, 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 hey. Hey, that's a lot of horses. If you guys, everybody, first of all, welcome to what normally is a Gen X Big Energy stream, but I think we somehow multiplied that. I don't know if Argent Energy. Hugo, how did we do this? How did we get so many Gen Xers on one stream? How is this possible?
we gather in groups. We have to stay close to each other to achieve maximum power.
We stay safe that way.
That's right.
We have to because it's crazy out there.
That's exactly right. So let me just do some intros real quick. You already know Hugo Martin. He's your dad. He plays with an inverted controller. There's probably dogs barking in the background somewhere, and it's right under the surface. It's right under the skin. He's ready to show us what he's got tonight, as always. Right to the immediate screen right of him is none other than Marty Stratton, executive producer. Which Marty, we haven't seen you in a minute. How you feeling, brother? How you doing?
Feeling good. Good to be here. Yeah, it's
Love
awesome. You guys are fun to watch, and now I get to be a part of the journey into the fun zone. What's better than that?
That's right.
That's it. And by the way, I gotta give a special shout out to your shirt. I feel like I've seen that, but it's been a while. That is an amazing shirt.
It's my favorite T-shirt. It really is my favorite T-shirt. The Hellwalker Sriracha shirt. I love it. Thank you. I go ahead.
I was gonna say shout outs to Swan Song, who made that shirt, who's also in chat both on YouTube and on Twitch right now. He will be pulling questions for us tonight. So just one of my best friends in real life, and just one of those Slayers that you can just count on and rely on. So thank you, Swan, for being around. And special,
and pretty amazing shirt,
dude. That shirt is everything. Like, it makes me want to put hot sauce on. Like, doesn't matter what, just pick a food
on everything.
On Pop-Tarts. Right. Why not? But speaking of extra spicy, Billy Kahn, lead engine programmer. What is up, bro? I don't think we haven't had you on here. We've been storing you away, right? In the container of how do you make the engine better when the engine is the best thing ever? How do you do it? How do you keep doing it? What's up? How have you been feeling? What have you been doing? What's up, man?
Man, it's been a crazy year. I mean, between DLC 1 and 2, which have been awesome, awesome content that we were able to work on, and all the features we added to that. Now patch 6. It's been a really amazing year, especially the team worked really hard on bringing the best we could bake on all the new platforms throughout. So I'm really stoked to see you guys.
We're gonna hear all about it tonight, Billy.
Right,
You're gonna walk us through it in detail.
Yes.
That's right. Speaking of which, if you want to just kick us off, Marty. So God, this week, I don't even know what day is what. Today is Thursday, but Tuesday, which was somehow just 2 days ago, we dropped an insanely large patch for us because it wasn't just Update 6, it was also Next Gen. What did we do? How did it work? Where are we at now?
Well, I mean, it's an update we've been working on a while. It's the as you mentioned, the kind of headliner is the next gen release, native support for Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, ray tracing in there on all the great GPUs. So I mean that would be something in and of itself, but we also added a new battle mode map. We added the Terrace Nabad master level with all of the new rewards that those come with these days, and a ton of updates, fixes. The gameplay team's been hard at work on some bandwidth optimizations for battle mode that yes, hopefully everybody's realizing have helped some of the server hitching. So really a big update for us, kind of right on the heels of getting DLC 2. It feels like right on the heels of DLC 2, but I know that was actually a few months ago now. So it's crazy how the time's flying. But yeah, big update. Just amazing work by the team at id.
100%.
It's a little bit of space from our last content drop, and I feel like the fans, the Doom Tubers, were commenting about the tiny little content drought that they went through, and it's awesome to see all of these guys diving back into the master level. I'm seeing a tremendous amount of love and interaction out there in on social media with all the guys and gals playing the Terrace Nabad master level. It's been cool to see. Give people a reason to dive back into Doom.
Yeah, it's nuts too, because again, these aren't just like, these aren't the middle of the mall master levels that we ship the game with. These are the ones that have extra life mode. They've got Ultra Nightmare. They've got all the different challenges that come with that. They've got classic mode, which, like, if you want to be a super masochist, you could go classic mode, Ultra Nightmare. It's like just that
extra life mode.
Yeah, I mean,
on the master level.
I mean, it's just one of those things. And the funniest thing is Hugo, as much as you and I were like, it's unbeatable, no one's gonna beat it. Never. You watch these streams and you're like,
first hour.
Son of a bitch. It's just
but they're getting caught where we thought they would get caught. And I'm happy to say that people are commenting on how it has good pacing, like that it is both harder at times than Super Gore Nest last master level, as it should be. I mean, it as hard, if not in moments harder, but a huge emphasis was put on pacing this time. So this is a good example of that. Pacing doesn't mean easy; it just means breaking up the kind of challenges we're throwing at you. I think we learned a lot in making the DLCs, about that. So really, really positive feedback on the master level, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also one of those things that, like, I think a lot of people kind of forgot that Terrace Nabad, like Super Gore Nest, is already not a short level. And so it's like you have to mentally, physically, and then in your actual schedule and calendar prepare for like what you're getting into when you're going to like start a nightmare run or an ultra nightmare run, right? You're like, it's going to be
a lot. It's
going to be some time. Yeah. But for streams, it's amazing because you're like, you think you're going to do an hour and a half stream. You are not doing an hour and a half stream.
No.
You're going to be there for a minute, which is great. It's been awesome to see everybody. Like you said, it's like everybody just kind of like reactivates. It's like the Slayer symbol is in the sky, and then we all show up and start playing. So it's been really cool. But speaking of Billy, like let's get into for a second here. Ray tracing. So it's, first of all, let me back up. What you guys have done to make this game run the way it does on any system it's been ported to. It's funny because we're used to seeing stuff like, does it run Doom on like TI-83 calculators and shit? But like with what you guys have done with Eternal, it's now just like all hardware is, every hardware that can be tested at being new or being fast or being amazing. It seems like Eternal is like the new benchmark for that. So how did you guys manage putting ray tracing into a game that wasn't built with ray tracing to start? Because, you guys had all the other amazing feats you wanted to accomplish of making it run super fast with zero compromises and everything feeling like input, like no delay on anything.
it takes the whole team. It's not just programming, right? It's the art department, it's the designers and even production. Everybody working together and coming up with a plan. And you know, when you tell the design team or the artists particularly, hey, you got this thing and you can make this stuff look cooler. We want to work on something, and then they tell you all the things that they couldn't do because they were lacking, but now they can do. There's a lot of excitement there. So the art department, Tony and Lear and you know Felix and all the teammates that have been working hard on making those tweaks, they really went nuts, and you'll see that when you play the game, you see all that fine detail. It really enhances the look of the game, even in areas where you know, because every surface has some reflectivity to it. So in the spots like in Hell on Earth, for example, when you play through that, it's not a shiny reflection. You see that sheen of moist on the wood, and that lighting that we now have. That because of that, it really, it takes something that was already amazing and puts like another coat of awesomeness on top of it. So yeah, major kudos to the collaboration with all our teams, and if you look at like on the it's just been an amazing experience because like it's usually we have to be with the bad guys and be like, yeah, you can't do this, don't do it. And this time it's like, hey, go nuts, you know, go play around, make this look awesome. We have all this power to play with now, and that was really fun project to work on, especially when it came to effects, you know, because with ray tracing we don't usually, what we do is we hide all the stuff that's off screen, and now we're like, well, you want to get that contribution from the effects and the characters and all the stuff that's off screen and have that appear now in your view, so you get that visceral look on all that craziness that happens off screen in the combat of all the mayhem that you do when you play the game. It's really fun.
And that's something that like I think a lot of people never think of when they see stuff like there's a lot of levels that you could take advantage of this, and you guys obviously did in incredible ways. But when you see things that are like, you know, either mirror finish or windows or something, I guess like a lot of players never think about the fact that they're only drawing the things they need to draw in front of me to make this feel like a consistent world. So like you never had to consider like everything that could be bouncing back, which means you have to do everything behind you or to the side of you or all these other places. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Thiago, for example, worked really hard on the light grid, so we could have all the lighting surrounding you. When we first saw the Doomslayer reflecting in the glass, you know, Ishan worked really hard on making the glass like reflect really nicely, and all the transparencies that like Jean worked on with Bogdan and stuff like that. Like the particles in particular, you have so many particles in the combat.
Yeah.
And seeing that mayhem that you cause, like in later stage of Atlantica, for example, or on Doom Hunter, for example, it's just really awesome. Or like when you go around a corner and then you can see in the reflection in Sam's base that there might be an imp hiding for you or Mancubus. That's like there's some gameplay benefits to that, and we were really excited about that.
Yeah.
And hopefully everyone will see that when they get a chance to play.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I think it's funny. It's never a thing that we thought about. Like, what about looking around corners and stuff through reflections? It's like, excuse me, I think you have the wrong game. And it's like, not anymore. Sorry, we got that now too. It's pretty nuts. But Hugo, I wanted to talk about
Chatting.
Oh, I'm sorry. This guy's chatting. Let's give this guy time.
All right.
It's impossible.
Trolling the chat.
Oh well, that's necessary. That's necessary.
I told him Midnight asked us to nerf King Novik, so we're gonna do that in the next patch.
Okay. I don't know how
Sounds
we're
good.
managing that, but that's gonna be interesting. I like that. So his cutscene, you got to nerf it. Okay.
That's right. It's too much for him.
Too powerful.
He's gonna release a video. King Novik is broken, and that'll be the next one.
King Novik is broken. His spirit is too powerful with ray tracing on.
That's right.
Too much energy.
What were you gonna ask me?
I can't remember. No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna ask, do you think Midnight's gonna make it? No, just kidding. I was gonna ask, with battle mode, like you and I, we talked about this before on stream. We love what we launched with. We've been updating stuff. We've been tweaking stuff, but there is still a little ways to go. And this was a big, major push for not only the new level. Can we talk about corrosion for a second? Like,
which is amazing.
Yes.
Play tested and approved by the Spicy Demons. We have a small group that we're able to run our content now through while it's early in development. They contribute to some of that stuff, and so we feel really confident about that map. Then we have the performance stuff,
Yes.
which we look. We gotta let it sit for a couple of weeks, right? Because we want to make sure that it holds. But it was this update was probably our biggest push towards performance. I mean, I don't know if Marty, you could speak a little more to that, but like,
Yeah.
lot of effort went into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the way the guys characterized it is basically the best performance prior should be the worst performance now. So I think like Hugo said, we've made changes in the past that we get a couple weeks distance from, or even a couple months distance from, and it seems oddly to not feel the same. So we'll let this marinate and see how it ages. But the feeling internally is that so a lot of the server hitching that people were experiencing really should be much better, if not completely mitigated.
We have a tiny bit more too that we want to hit, but like mostly what it was just isolating the instances which our core battle mode players know that there are certain actions that they do that create the hitch. So it's kind of going through the list and trying to identify those things, in addition to like a bunch of other things.
Generating 1,000 drops at a time.
Yes, exactly. The single player was so made for online multiplayer. Absolutely.
Totally. Everything's a pinata. It all just works. It's
exactly.
easy.
Yeah. Imagine when each piece of candy that comes out of a pinata drops your performance.
Oh my God. I know.
You love it. Yeah.
Exactly. And especially with the speed of the combat, a millisecond is frustrating when you're going up against top demons or top slayers. So like we understand and we think the community has just been awesome working with us. That also, I mean, Josh, you know it better than anybody, working with those guys and helping us identify the issues.
Oh yeah.
So excited to hear. Let's see how it goes. I mean, it's promising. Let's watch. Let's listen. If you guys don't like the new map, talk to the Spicy Demons. They gave us a shit. I'm just kidding.
It's on them now. They're responsible.
Right.
They'll be taking all your phone calls.
No idea what it was involved. Complete blame.
We're pretty pumped, as well as Marty said, like lots of balanced stuff, in and around battle mode, and more to come. Tunable updates. We're able to every couple of weeks hit a quick balance update should anything pop out. And we know already, we're talking with the community, we see that there's lots of good things that went in the patch, a couple of things that they would, based on the feedback, we see that we should probably tweak some of the values a little bit. We have damage fall off for the larger demons now. So big demons like the Mancubus and the Pain Elemental, they won't take max damage at any distance from hit scan weapons.
Yeah.
We know that on console, I believe, or PC, one of them, we're going to adjust that value a little bit, but just tons of stuff, honestly. Which, by the way, Josh, I got good feedback from the community on your patch notes. I know Josh writes them.
Ooh, tell me more.
Yeah, he works closely with. Big credit to Peter Sokol.
Yes.
And all those guys, and Ryan Williams for getting them all prepared. But Josh, that was like your senior thesis, dude. Like you did.
Oh well, I try to. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I try to do like a thesis per quarter if I can, if we have the content, because it's just one of those things that it's always like, look, the most amazing thing about our community is we have players at all levels, but sometimes I like to think about a certain subset of them as like mechanics. So you have Billy here, who's like the guy building the jets, going into the engines, making the tweaks. But I feel like we have all these junior mechanics out there that are like, okay, so if you made a change and you don't own every single 0.1 decibel of it, I'm going to know, and I'm going to be salty, and I want to know. So we're we're doing our best always to like own every single thing that we can and organize it in such a way where you can look at the patch notes, get exactly what you want, and then be like, cool. I either like that or I don't, but now I have a super informed opinion to give very constructive criticism, which you guys do very well. 99% of the time.
James Duggan, who's a big, he works for us, and he's a big competitive multiplayer guy. And he threw you a high compliment. He said,
Oh,
I
wow.
follow a lot of competitive multiplayer scenes and read their patch notes, and he feels like that was one of the better ones he's read in a long time. I was just like, nice.
Thanks, Duggan. Shout outs to Duggan now.
And what else? What else is in the patch? So many things in the patch. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Probably among the biggest updates, sort of. Yes.
Yeah.
I would say, like, pound for pound, Marty, is that among the biggest?
I'd say it's the biggest, definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you say it's the biggest?
Well, it's because I think adding platforms. You know what it's like at the office.
Yeah.
Adding platforms for us is it's a lot, and this added basically three platforms with XS and PS5. So if we always like to give credit where credit is due, and we're up to 10 platforms, 11 platforms, Billy, when you count all of the different ways that we distribute on the PC. And when you figure we got to go through all of that with QA, our QA team has continued to just like take on more and more, whether it's Switch or these new platforms. It's just, and the game. So we gain platforms, the game gets bigger with all of the DLC, and every time we do a release, it's all got to get tested to make sure nothing falls out of balance or out of whack. So, I gotta give it up to Addison and our QA team for just continue. Yeah, and to do it all. We don't. We haven't talked about it at all, but we're still obviously all working from home, and that goes for our QA team as well. So they are pulling builds down over their home internet connections, which as anybody knows, trying to download, 75, 80 gigs, just, when you're buying a game is one thing, but you do that every day when we're releasing builds. And it's a lot. So, so they just pushed through and done a fantastic job working from home and with the expansion of the game and the expansion of platforms.
I thought the 48-hour period after the patch was launched was our best also. We always have the war room and everybody that's doing that awesome work in there. But this time, in addition to Josh and sometimes myself, cruising the Discords and seeing what people are saying, we had James, we had Cronid, we had Peter, we had Evan.
We had Evan, lead gameplay programmer in there.
Yeah, you guys are getting like our lead gameplay programmer, cruising through the Discords, watching Spicy Chat, making sure everything's okay, gathering information. Like I said, Billy, I'm sure, was in there as well. Like, everybody was watching, and you could feel it, because, hey, look, there's a couple of things. Like, for example, there's a little bit of inconsistency now with PB. Hitbox, it feels like the hitbox shrank. It didn't. It's just that every once in a while there's an inconsistency because you're hitting some things in the air. Super smart people are tracking that stuff, and they're working on it as we speak. The splash damage is also affected by that as well. Had something to do with some other change somewhere else, and but we were able to communicate so closely with the community, like within an hour, because you guys are crazy, because you play, like Marty said. They're never going to beat this, and in 1 hour, Bloodshot's already done, and he speed ran it 3 times.
Yeah.
But he also had really constructive feedback. I mean, like there's for like if anything fell out of place. So it's been an awesome couple of days. Working with everybody. We're getting good at this, Marty. We're this whole update thing. We should.
You would, yeah.
The community is like
after 6.
The community is so dialed in. It's almost like every player is now combat designer because they're so in tune with how the game is played, which is amazing to see. All that's why we read everything you guys write. We take everything you guys write and post and debate about to heart, like because we love the game just as much as you guys do, or everyone on the that all of our fans do.
Well, and it's awesome when everybody's so constructive and and attentive. Like I mentioned QA, but it's a limited number of people,
Sure.
and when we launch and it goes out, it's tens and tens and tens times the number of people instantly playing it that we've had play it, the entire time it's been in testing. So
on 11
stuff is
platforms,
going
like
to
you
come
said.
up. Yeah, on 11 platforms,
Yeah.
all simultaneously.
Yeah.
So, it's impossible. I mean, everybody plays a lot of games. You know what it's like out there. So it's impossible to catch everything. And as the games get bigger and the platforms expand. So it's awesome. I mean, so
It's a dialogue
I'm
now,
not
Marty.
here. So yeah, exactly. And
It's
so
just a
I will
conversation
say
now.
thank you. Yeah, thank you for the
Yeah.
conversation. Thank you for the support and the the being proactive and
I mean,
it's
most
awesome.
of the Discords, they make these channels, the bug channels for us. They point us to the videos. They know what to do. It's automatic,
Yeah.
So it's awesome. It's really cool. It just feels like I mean, it's hokey. I mean,
Say
you guys
it.
are definitely, we're like all a big team.
There it
like
is.
and
There it
that
is.
that is what it feels
Get
like.
in for
So,
this giant effing hug.
Group hug.
Yeah.
that's it. What does he say in Wedding Crashers? Come in here for the real thing. With the guy at the end, Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Come
It's
in
that
here for
it's
the
that
real
time.
thing,
No,
brother.
but you're right. It's like it's such a good and important and truthful note that just like we've been getting better at doing updates, it's like the community's gotten so good at doing constructive criticism, at keeping each other in check. Because
Yeah.
the easiest thing in the world is to say this sucks or I don't like this, and it's like, but that we can't do anything with that. You know what I mean? We can't take that and discuss
Yeah.
that as a team and go, okay, if this person thinks it sucks, why? But if they tell us, okay, everything is awesome, but this one thing is exactly
Yeah.
like this, and it would be maybe cooler if it was like that. We have things we can consider and build around, and like you said, Billy, we've got so many junior mechanics and game designers out there that it's awesome. I mean, it's a privilege to work with this community because they're so well informed and they're so dialed in. For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Hugo always calls everybody the race car drivers, and you got people like Billy who are the mechanics. So
Yep.
That's it.
and Josh telling the race car drivers with the patch notes what the latest is with the car. So
I know. I'm trying to figure out in this
yeah.
analogy where I am. If I'm the guy
Awesome.
that's running with the tires and shit, I don't know which guy I am, but I'm one of those
In the
guys.
cockpit.
There you
guy
go.
with the headset on that gives the driver instructions.
That's right.
Going back and forth. Exactly.
New tires, new tires.
New tires, Billy, hurry up.
Last lap, let's go. I gotta change my voice for it, but we'll figure it out. Speaking
that
of
was
which,
pretty good.
oh thanks. Speaking of
It's funny. I watched Days of Thunder recently.
so did I,
and
which is weird, but go ahead.
it's better. It gets better with age
Yeah,
because
I agree.
it's so 90s.
Like
and
us.
the way, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
The,
Let's say
the
that.
way that Tom Cruise's character is introduced, and it's like sunset, and he steps out in his hair, and he turns
Yeah.
and faces the cat. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
Like,
even though the guy's 4 foot tall, he looks like a giant because they shoot him the right way for him, and he's got the sunset. He looks like a badass. Yeah,
with so much reality TV now and things being just I don't know, more believable, I guess. It's even more. It just makes me realize how cartoonishly large everything was, in the 80s and 90s on film.
big time.
It's awesome.
No, you're right, and it's also not every shot. Because now with reality TV, I think if you watch a lot of shows, you'll notice that the cutting style is 3 seconds. That shot is too long. You should have cut already. It's insane how quickly they cut because the attention spans have just shortened with advertising and everything else. So when you watch something like Days of Thunder and his intro shot is 12 seconds long, you're like, Jesus, look at this. This is insane looking. You know what I mean?
It
Your brain does something different where you're like, wow, I'm really paying
Yeah.
attention. This is crazy.
It is. It's
When are they
awesome.
going to cut?
Look at his hair.
I have to look at it because it's still on the screen after 3 seconds. So now I'm just mesmerized by this guy's hair. Yeah.
All right, we want to
Jumping in? What are we doing?
I haven't played in a little bit, but I'm
Ooh.
excited. What do you guys want to play? We talked about this a little bit.
We did.
Something shiny.
So we kick around
Let's
sometimes.
make
We
it
let
shiny.
Okay. Shiny's
We
the
let the-
requirement. I like this.
we let the chat decide. So of the shiny levels, chat, we have. What do we have? We have Doom Hunter.
Billy, yeah.
Billy. Billy. What's the other ones?
Atlantica's good, but I don't
You
know
would
if
say
I want to see
Atlantica.
you sweat today.
So if-
Atlantica's great.
see Atlantica,
Doom
yeah.
Hunter's great. The Cult of Space has some really nice stuff. I mean, everywhere,
And
really.
Art, well,
Just pick
someone
one.
said Art Complex as well, but Art
Oh,
Complex
our
is gonna be
complex, yeah.
more about the glass. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
So-
yep, yep.
We're not going to do Terrace Sabad Master Level today, guys.
We also
that will
we also got to think about this. So we did DLC recently, and we still, since we're doing master levels in some kind of order, we will do Art Complex eventually. And of course, by the way, welcome to the ray tracing stream forever now, because we're never not doing ray tracing now. So this is just the beginning
all right.
of a beautiful marriage of the road trip of which that is paved in mirrors, because we're doing ray tracing forever. So maybe we'll stay away from like Art Complex, because that's already a master level. We have to get to that, and Cultist Base also. So maybe should we? So it sounds like UAC and Doom Hunter.
I mean, everybody's saying Doom Hunter, so I'm
Let's
just
do
think
Doom
Doom
Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah.
yeah,
Doom
because
Hunter.
everybody knows this isn't about the sweating. The sweating will come soon. Our I say that to the audience because I know you guys like to see me fail. But the you know, certainly Terrace Sabad Master Levels on the deck, but we're gonna want Billy to walk us through the details here, and
Yeah, let's
Marty
switch.
can talk about everything that it took to make this happen. I mean, like, there's a lot here, and I will just begin. So can you see my screen?
We sure can.
Yes.
Look at that. There's
Billy, how did you get your background to be red like that? What do I need to do?
I knew that was going to come up.
That's right. I got sources named Joshua hooked me up.
Man, I want
I was gonna say you guys and your matching backgrounds.
It's
I
right.
know, that looks awesome.
He's like, I have this awesome loop.
It's amazing.
Check this out, and I'm like, you have a loop I can use. Nice.
I'm like, Billy, so when we switch to the Ford shot, we'll be just underneath in a perfect
That's
green
right.
screen. It's all planned.
yeah.
It's all planned.
Simplu asked us to nerf the speed of the train coming in here, so we're gonna do that in the next match.
Okay, slow it down.
Chad, that's my joke, and you're gonna hear more of this. We're gonna start.
Love it.
It's my turn to give it back.
That's right.
That's right.
You've been taking it for more than a year now, so it's your turn to start serving it.
That's right.
Serving it
Okay.
up.
Do I hit? Do we go?
I think we
Do
go.
it.
Wait. Let me see. What are we on here? Nightmares.
Okay.
Controls. I'm at 8072.
That's the way.
I am at. Where's the?
You got inverted, of course, because
I do 105. I know Billy would like me to do more. 105 is already pretty huge for me.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
play the way you like it. That's why we have all those options for everyone. You know,
Yeah.
everyone should just pick the stuff that makes them happy and roll with that. That's why we put them there.
Speaking of things that make us happy, Billy, this ballista, when he switches to it, is basically like the most reflective thing I've ever seen in my life. And I gotta give credit to whoever named it, because it's called the Ray Tracer. I think it's for a reason. Tell us about that gun. What's going on with that?
We go subtle with our names, you know.
That's right.
Dude, I
Because nobody else would
Off to a
get
good
it.
start, dude.
Woo!
Amazing.
Nobody
I
would be able
died.
to tell what's happening if you don't name it that.
I died on the train.
That's fair. I guess you can't get too
They're
cute.
saying no sound.
I went
Are they
to
getting sound?
toning.
Oh yeah, game
Are they
sound
getting
in 3, 2, 1. You have it now. That's on me.
Awesome.
Had to mute before we got in. There we go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we were. I mean, when this came up, we are like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have the guns super reflecting? That's all, like just like you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
And like, would there be something you guys can do to? Let's see, we went to Cameron and we went to Tony and Ryan and Timothy, and we're like, what can we do? And they're like, oh, let's take the ballista. That'd be perfect. And then they came up with that tweak here, and I think they did a fantastic job, because it shows off not only the reflectivity, but it also shows you the anywhere where you pull this gun up, you'll be able to see that these are real reflections. Like everything off screen gets properly reflected. One thing I've noticed, the way we light the reflections and the way ray tracing works, it's the exact same lighting that we do in the normal rasterized path. So we don't take any shortcuts.
Look
Actually,
at that, Billy. Look at that.
Oh damn.
Yes.
Billy's explaining how it's done, and you were just like,
No, that's great. Man, look on the floor there. I mean, like all the detail that you see normally is in the reflection. Like, so the decals and the geo decals and
That's awesome.
like and the resolution. We wanted to be as accurate as we could be. And including the particles. The particles are like just seeing the smoke trails on rockets flying by, or like, you know, seeing the plasma beam on the, you know, on the, what do we call it, the, gosh, I'm having a on the plasma rifle. All that stuff is just super fun to watch, you know. And then that's, I mean, I was like a little kid when the artists started playing with it, and every day something else came online, I was like, "Ooh, check this out!" And we couldn't focus really, right? When Yishin got the glass to work, and we could see, and Philip was working on the third-person character. He showed that off, and like you saw the Doomicorn in the reflection. That was dope.
I know, because I know that, like chat, I'm very biased on thinking that the id Software art team is like completely insane, and so is the engine team. And so the fact that you guys got to basically create like new dimensions for the art to like reflect and come back into the player is just, it's nuts. So I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna ask a super basic question, because I feel like whether you're on PC, whether you have no consoles and you're just saving your money to try to get either a PC or a next gen, explain to us in layman's terms of like, what is ray tracing exactly? Like, how does it work and what is it?
Yeah, so if you could go with talk about photons now, but probably nobody wants to hear that.
I mean,
He
it
said
sounds
layman's terms. Start with photons?
so. Talk about the human eye, and let's go from pupil to. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. What do you got?
So usually when we render stuff, obviously you see, we only render the polygons and the surfaces that are on screen. And with ray tracing, many times we cull or remove the things on the edges or behind us. But with ray tracing, I mean, everything in the world has, you know, all the light that we see in the world. There's light bouncing off all the surfaces, and with ray tracing, what we can do is we can catch that light bouncing. So let's say I was looking down this hallway, but the wall that's off screen, you know, that still contributes to the scene because of light bouncing off of it. And with ray tracing, we can basically simulate those light rays going through space and then hitting that wall and then contributing to the surface that you actually are visible, and that actually enhances the lighting and the look. That's why when you have techniques like screen space reflections, you don't have that depth information, whereas with ray tracing you do. So, and then the fidelity is much higher, and all the shading, and so we don't have to make compromises with that. That's why the what you see here on the floor, it actually is the exact same thing that we would normally render if it was on screen or whether it's off screen. And that took quite some time because it's quite intensive. Normally all that stuff was turned off. So real briefly, it's just basically simulating light rays, and as they travel through the world, and making sure that all surfaces take more of those light rays into account, especially the ones that are off screen. So you get that nice shading and reflectivity and global illumination in the scene.
And so
now just imagine how all of that sounds when it's non-layman's terms, and the programmers are talking about it together.
Yeah.
My brain is melting at the thought.
What? It happens sometimes where I'll be in a meeting and they'll be talking like truly talking at the mechanic level.
Yeah.
And it's the most bizarre experience. I'm sure everybody has this, you know, with some facet in their life, but it's the craziest experience because it's like hearing another language, but they're speaking English, so you understand all of the us, does, you know, but everything else is just like, I don't understand.
I know. I love how, like, of all the things that got like shiny finish and got amazing, which I want to get into more in a minute, of like how you guys went about changing the game so that it could like feature these things. I love how the callback that we did in Eternal for the little small health vial pickups that are like, you know, the old school, almost like potion looking like D&D level shit. Like the way that somehow with ray tracing on, those just got incredible looking. Like sometimes I don't even pick them up. I'm just like, wow, would you look at that? And I'm zooming in with like the PV just to like stare at them. Like, I guess, did you guys just look at it and go, yeah, it's glass, we're doing that? Like, how did you guys go about this?
I mean, that's the nature of the beast. If you get it to work properly and all those all those surfaces just naturally work. That's the beauty of it. It's a simple compact concept. It's hard to implement, but once it all works, it all brings everything together into one unified way of lighting, and that's why everything looks consistent and the image quality is improved. As a matter of fact, if you go to one of those vials that you have, those blue vials that you're talking about, if you go close to them, you can see the Doomslayer reflecting in them.
Holy shit.
Just stop for a second, you can see him reflecting, like kill the dudes and
just kill everybody first. Hugo, come on.
Stop, Billy.
Hugo, get those guys.
Can you please just do your part, Hugo?
Can you hurry up? What's taking you so long?
We're trying to look at the shinies, Hugo.
Yeah, that's right.
Hold on. You guys stay there.
Don't pick it up.
Maybe zoom in with
if you
the
just
TV.
walk, you can actually
Look at
see
that.
them.
I'm gonna get hit.
The whole
Look at the
world is
fireball
reflecting in that.
thing.
It's
That's
kinda
amazing.
Damn. All the demons are like, what is wrong with that Slayer? What is he doing? What is this?
He's looking at the ray tracing.
Is he like narcoleptic?
You should be happy about that.
Yeah, it's true. Free
I
shots.
mean, they're locked in with him, right?
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. And then you were mentioning AI too. Did any AI actually get? Did some of their, like any of the pieces and parts of all of the complex things that bust off of all these demons? Did any of that actually get a pass where it has the reflexivity, like the reflexiveness that some of the floors and other textures do, for the demons in particular?
Yeah, there were some characters, like if you look at the Doom Hunter, like you later when you fight him, and the Arachnotrons actually got a nice pass.
Nice.
So the artists went nuts. They really like took it to heart. Be like, ooh, where can I use this? And then they went crazy. Be like, it was really exciting to watch. And it wasn't like we just like, okay, here's some tech, we're gonna crank everything up to 27. It was more like an artistic choice where we wanted to get those enhancements. So, and how can it enhance the environment at the level to where it makes sense. And then at that point it was just artist driven, right? They had the tools in place to make those tweaks to get the vision that they had initially. And really make it shine when it's enabled.
I feel like it's
Need ammo.
Yeah, you do. There, chainsaw.
Chainsaw.
There it is. And Marty, how crazy is it that like we just happened to release this game in the right window, where essentially it's like where games would normally, years later get like a remaster or other things, like we're already kind of doing some of that now with like a year after release with stuff like ray tracing. Like, how nuts is this time window we're in?
Yeah, it's awesome. It was kind of a really good opportunity because ray tracing, it's not like ray tracing just came out of the blue. I mean,
Right.
it's been a topic. I mean, for decades, really. I think is accurate to say, and honestly, it's always been like I feel like kind of the holy grail for hitting a mass market, and so to have our game launch kind of in that window, and to have it on the roadmap in advance. The guys have been talking about this for way more than just the last year. So,
Aww.
Did we do any updates to the bunny?
Yeah,
Look,
did we?
she's.
we should have put him in armor and
Is
really
the-
shiny armor.
His pupil is reflective.
That's right.
You can see yourself in Daisy's
Oh my
eyes.
god! Could you imagine the photo mode shots?
There's like
If
an
you get
80s
close
power
enough,
ballad. I see
it should
myself
work.
in Daisy's eyes.
Yes.
I think we
We
need
should have
to-
did that.
I
Why
like
did
that.
we?
I feel like
should like
Andrew's just
notes, but
taking notes right now. He's like power ballad, Daisy, Slayer,
Like,
eyes.
I want to
Got
see
it.
you, Marty, with IGN. Just like when you're doing your interviews, just like you can see yourself in Daisy's
Bring up
eyes.
the big gigantic magnifying glass and gets really close.
We gave you the
Oh my
update
God,
you guys really wanted. Not the one you asked for, but the one you really wanted.
Oh my
That
god,
is
I don't
amazing.
even remember what we're talking about.
I see Moonfire Madeira.
The time frame. Yeah, no, it was. Look at that, it's amazing.
Yeah, dude. What?
Look at there he is.
Damn.
buddy? And if you notice, like, if you look at him,
Mhm.
it's not just that's the exact same shading. We didn't make any compromises. We wanted to make sure that the decals he has, like the blood decals that are on the gun, and all the surfaces that you see in the world are properly reflected. So there are no compromises made with the lighting or the shading. It's the exact same stuff that you would see in the raster pass. So it's not just a flat color or something like that. That was very important to us, you know.
Yeah.
And in ray tracing, I mean, our light map, for example, is path traced, right? So our static lighting that we have for the environment was already path traced, and we used that knowledge base to do also to apply that knowledge base that we had for the real time stuff.
So you're saying you work smarter, not harder, because you guys already did some of that work.
That's the whole team is working really, and I think it's just. I always say that, but we always say that it's that working together as a team towards a common goal. That's how we win.
Yeah.
Is by because if we empower our artists, they look at the amazing stuff that they can create.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I feel like we always.
You said somebody's getting questions out of the chat, right? Because there's like good questions in the chat.
Yeah. Here we go. So this one's coming from the cache hit or the cache hit. I never know how French or not French that word is. Question for Billy. What do the id artists think of ray tracing, and do renderers have their blessing?
I mean, they love all the power it gives them. They get really excited about the detail they get. The artists, some of our tech artists like Felix or Timmy or Tony, they've worked in film before, and they've been working in this type of environment where they've had these features, and getting them now in real time is super exciting to them, especially on the lighting front. So the team is extremely excited for working on this stuff and for the future.
We have a lot of guys who geek out to this stuff for sure.
Yeah, totally.
I think between the programmers and the artists, there's definitely a real passion for it.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to point out real quick. Hugo, pop into your settings for video real quick, and then Billy, walk us through. We had to address this on Reddit immediately because there was a lot of people that were like, yo, I've got everything on Ultra Nightmare. Why are my frames taking a hit? I'm doing DLSS. But it's what? It's the... I might need to... It's hard to see
Billy,
with all the cameras.
If you look at the top here, where it says VRAM, we're running on a 3090 here, so it has some crazy town VRAM. So... So normal mortals like myself, we can't afford that card. But if you have like a normal card, like a 2080 or something that has like 8 gigs of VRAM, one of the things that most people, the VRAM is where we store the textures and the geometry and the particles and all that good stuff that you want to see on screen. If that doesn't reside in the VRAM of the video card, then it has to fall back to the system memory. So your normal memory, like the 32 gigs or 16 gigs that you have on your your DDR4 basically. Yeah. But that transfer from that memory to the video card over the PCI Express lane is super slow. You don't want to have that transfer. You want to have it resident on the video card. So that's why we have that VRAM setting up there for you to dial in. The most important setting, if you boot up the game and you had it previously running on Ultra Nightmare, you may want to tweak your texture quality setting lower, because what happens is I can't see.
Is that the pool size?
If you turn that, you want to probably try setting that to high if you have a card that's like 8 gigs.
So texture pool size?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when Midnight, when he did his video and he showed that he had a frame rate drop at first and he did the whole DLS and why isn't
that was the cause.
Basically what was it again? Summarize it.
It's basically you're running out of VRAM when you have so much VRAM memory on your GPU, but if you're running other things like Chrome or any kind of applications like Twitch, whatever, it doesn't matter. They all consume VRAM as well. Like the game does not get the full amount, and we don't have control over it. We say we have the highest priority, and we need this memory. But sometimes we don't get all of it, and then what happens is that if you don't get enough, some of that stuff spills into system RAM, and then you can have frame rate drops. The easiest thing to do is lower it to high. You don't lose much fidelity. All that really does is that the streamer doesn't have to work so hard. That is a marginal cost on the CPU, to decode that, especially if you have an SSD or an NVMe drive. You don't need to crank it to Ultra Nightmare necessarily. That's like, I have so much headroom, just load it all in, so I get that little tiny marginal boost. I would just say, if on an 8 gig card or a 6 gig video VRAM card, put that setting down to high, and then that should help you out.
Cool.
So
Yep.
that's the one to hit if you're seeing like a performance thing. If you're within specs already, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing you can tone down if shadow quality, you can turn that down. The shadow pool size, that also consumes some bit. If you use DLSS and turn that on NVIDIA cards, that reduces some memory cost as well slightly. But the big one to hit is the texture pool size and the shadow quality, shadow pool size.
Pull out that ray tracer again. Let's see that ballista.
You heard it here, folks.
Turn it down, you maniacs.
That's right.
You're like, no, I need that Ultra Nightmare, and then I can relate.
Yeah, same here. I need it too, but I also need a 3080 Ti to really, or 3090 to really
all do
that without having your GPU just be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're stressing me out with all this asking. There's so many reflections. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, I love this scene. This scene is awesome.
Yeah, with all this stuff on.
Yeah, with the Mancubus. Oh, this window too. Yeah.
All right, I got some more questions coming in. Marty, are you with us? I think you're muted.
Kind of. Give me 1 second.
All right, all good.
Like my pink cup. It's awesome.
That is good. I'm always curious to see the colors that, like, I know that there's no green and pink, but still, you just never know what green screen's going to do to colors. So the fact that it was primarily pink, that's a win. That's good.
That's right. I got it right.
Yeah.
Had a master helping me today.
Oh, please. You calling me a master of anything is just like, somebody clip that, send it to me. I'm putting that on my grave. I was a master of something at some point because Billy said. Don't forget.
I used to wear pink shirts on every Wednesday, and that was a.
What's that trend? I love that. Just cause?
Yeah, it was just a silly thing I started because one of my daughters was picking colors for my shirts, and then just turned out she always picked it on Wednesday. So that's just a joke, an inside joke in the office.
That's awesome. Pink shirts on Wednesday. I like that. And I would think you'd have to have like a pretty decent variety of pink shirts at that point because you're gonna be like, all right, I gotta mix it up here.
Yeah, it was really bright.
I know. I can imagine at the id office, everybody's wearing like metal shirts, these like black T-shirts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're coming in with a pink shirt. They're like, damn, that's a lot. That's a color. You are coming at us today. It's loud.
Right.
I like that. All right, here we go. This is a programming question coming in from the Gray Box Studios. Thank you again, Swan, for pulling questions from chat. So the question is, programming question, how are the bullets calculated? Are they physically based, or are they raycast, or does it depend on the weapon type?
It depends on the weapon. Most of the weapons are actual physicalized projectiles that fly through the world, and that's because that gives us that awesome gameplay. When you see the rocket flying through here, that's a physicalized. Like even on the HAR. I mean, at some I can't remember.
The heavy cannon.
This back after, on the heavy cannon. At one point, we had them. I think. Hit scan, but I can't remember if he changed it. I think we ended up having them just really fast projectiles that are physicalized flying through. It just gives you a better feel. Like when you see or when the imps throw their fireballs, all those are like real projectiles flying through the world.
And it's one of those things that in photo mode, if you slow down, you're like, holy shit, that's the shot. Like I can see it in space.
Yeah, you can see the actual rocket from the rocket launcher flying through the world. There's some awesome screenshots that people have posted.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I got a softball question for everybody, but since Marty's back, I'm going to ask this because the next question after this is for Marty, specifically. So the softball question, this is for everybody. This is from Parandroid. The question is for all of you. How does it feel to be the creator of one of the best games ever? Mic drop. I added the mic drop, but how does it feel? It's a real question. You got to answer it.
As Tommy Lee once said, it doesn't suck.
Truth.
Oh,
Yeah,
such
absolutely. Gosh, I don't know that. I mean, this sounds maybe dumb, but I don't know that I really ever stop to think about that
Yeah.
exactly, because it always feels like I'm so behind on just everything that needs to happen, and going for for what's happening ahead. But it is amazing to I think that's part of it, is things change so fast that you can kind of enjoy that moment for about a half second. And the times that I really do enjoy it is when we get to kind of talk about what we do next, or like get in front of people at QuakeCon or at E3, and show our product, and meet the fans and that kind of stuff, because it's talking to the people. I mean, it's just like this, it's talking
Yeah.
to people who play it and know it and love it, and it means something to them. And not to get overly sappy, but
Do it.
frankly, that's the times that it really kind of feels that way at all, because all the rest of the times you're worried about, like, it falling out of favor, or doing something that screws something up, or making sure that the team and the company and and the people are all set up to do it again, because it never ends. You never get to sit back and just say, oh, well, we made this great game, so we don't need to worry about anything anymore. It's like you make a great game, and guess what? The next time it's got to be even better. So
Yeah.
that typically is all consuming, in my mind. But but having somebody say it, and again, getting to talk to people who love it so much, when we're at a situation like QuakeCon, and my God, I can't wait for next year,
Yes.
to actually get in person at QuakeCon.
Yeah.
But because it's been way too long. But those are the most rewarding times when it comes to that kind of stuff for me.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, we're not in it's not the Nintendo 64, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES era, where we're just like putting a game on a cartridge and being like, next, right? Like,
Yeah, especially this year. I mean, I really like. I've said it before, and it's like I was going to work from home. I really didn't know how it was going to work. I didn't know how well the team was going to respond. How productive things would be, and we were immensely more effective than I thought. I mean, the team, really adapted well, solved problems. It's certainly, it's cost us time, and I mentioned QA and the build transfer times and all that. I mean, all of that stuff affects the entire studio
yeah.
and everybody in it. But man, it's just it's been a nutty year, but it just handled it incredibly well.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I don't know how you guys made 2 expansions and now a beefy update in like a little bit over a year's time, and it didn't feel compromised. That's the nuttiest thing about all of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
how the team has accomplished that, never seeing each other, not being in the same space for even things like, I mean, again, we had mentioned it before, but huge shout outs to everybody on all the teams and community for helping us for stuff like playtest, because how could we get all of the stuff like, with battle mode, you straight up need numbers, right? You can't just be like, all right, I'm going to test this on my rig. Okay, it looks good. It's like, it has to be done in different environments. It has to be done with, at least 3 people. So it's been such a crazy effort to get to here. But here's the next question. This is just for you. And this is coming from Weebingly. I always want to try to see if I can read these names right. Oh, I'm sorry. This one's actually from Wally Up. Shit, there's so many W's on here. Okay, question for Marty. With Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal being huge successes and setting the bar really high, what's id's biggest challenge for the next game/project in your opinion?
I would say probably. I think there's a couple things. I'll stay pretty high level. I think ensuring that kind of like what I was just talking about, that we don't, we kind of don't rest, that we continue to innovate, that we continue to make something that feels new and fresh, and engaging, like all of the things that we talked about all through Doom Eternal. As we move forward, we need to continue to do that, but people aren't going to be satisfied just playing, playing Doom Eternal more and more and more and more, or compromising in any way. So I think, I think that creative and technical and, just the innovation that needs to happen continually is always kind of a challenge of our industry in general. And then I think, another element of it that I think about a lot is just the team, and kind of maintaining and improving, even continually improving the culture of our studio, the just the way people work together, the opportunities that they feel like they have at the studio. We talked about it a lot when we first, when we were kind of rebooting on Doom 2016, that we wanted to create not just one of the best first-person shooters ever, but in the process create the best studio in the industry, because that is where, when you look at the great studios, and the great games, usually it's something built over time. They produce games one right after other. We look no further than BGS internally. They've built on their successes over time. You look at Naughty Dog, so the same. I mean, they're Blizzard. They build great culture in the studio, and it translates to amazing games. They believe in quality and alignment and all those kinds of things, and they do it really well because, by and large, they get confidence in each other, and they work together, over and over. So that takes maintaining the people that you have, and retaining them, and keeping everybody satisfied and happy, and creatively fulfilled, technically fulfilled. So I think continuing to do that is a big thing, because the industry is super competitive right now. There are studios just exploding, and in the number of people they're hiring, and that kind of thing. So making sure that it is the place that people want to be. Our talented team is where they want to be, and our games are really fun to work on, and the culture is great, is a big thing. And it's been tough in work from home. We're such a in-person kind of group of collaborators, and even just the social stuff. It's been challenging, but we're anxious to get back and get back to that the fun stuff when we can see each other.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a very long-winded answer.
No, it's a good one though. It's a really good one.
The chat is like falling asleep.
Are they giving you the emotes of the snooze? Come on, you bastards!
Oh, I don't know.
No, they're not. They're not. They're all thinking it's cool, and they're just
It's a very
saying,
civilized chat. It's nice.
dude, we've got the best community. Welcome to it, for sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of balls popping off on YouTube,
I was
but
gonna
that's
say,
just...
I wasn't gonna say it.
Are there enough balls though?
That's,
you need more.
Are there? That's the question. Are there enough balls?
I don't know.
well,
YouTube?
Hemp would say no, but
That's true.
I need to check. Let me check this out.
look at that.
Can I say something, Hugo? I felt like I had to blink a few times to make sure that there wasn't a keyboard and mouse enabled. I feel like your new Elite Series 2 controller, it's all dialed in, my friend, because you played your ass off.
I'm playing with paddles.
That's it.
Yes, I didn't take them off from last time because I need to prep for Terrace Nabat. And
Couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up. And
We should have made that coin just a mirror. Like he holds the mirror up and just looks at himself, like I'm a badass, and then flips it out there.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. That was fun. God, it's just awesome. I don't get a chance to play this, every day, and so it felt good to play it again.
Yeah. We're going to switch back
Sweet.
to Mr. Rogers' section for just a second here. And by just a
Yeah,
second,
yeah.
I mean for the rest of it. So, GG's easy. Well played, Hugo. You just made Doom Hunter, the whole base look like it belonged to you. Like they were there, just like babysitting, waiting for you to come, just kick them
Yeah,
all
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So GG's on
No,
that.
Titan Lights. I didn't grow a lot. I'm using my stuff. Like I purposely wouldn't play. Like I've always been amazing.
Yeah,
just to
you,
make
you
that
might not have
clear.
noticed, but
Yeah, yeah. But
you're looking at
when you play with a basic controller on the hardest stuff, like of course it's going to be more challenging. But that's true of any game. I mean, a lot of guys, as I said before, like I don't do the bumper jumper thing, but by all means, really the only advantage with the paddle is I can jump and shoot and aim at the same time. But you can reconfigure the controller to do that. You don't have to get a controller with a paddle or anything. But I choose not to. But
just like you chose not to use ice bombs on either of those Doom Hunter
That's right.
bosses, even though you can now.
We did. We tweaked that. We made it so if you play through the normal game, you're able to ice bomb them now because it's a good tutorial to use ice bomb. It was a mistake on the part of the game director to
Who's that?
not allow you to ice bomb them. And what we found was there was a lot of really good people who had no idea for the rest of their first playthrough that you could ice bomb every other Doom Hunter after that. So the idea that we would our rule is each character has something to teach you. Well, that character taught you the wrong thing. They lied to you.
the first three were very deceptive, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes no sense, and there's no reason for it. Like there's nothing in the game that would tell you otherwise. So we did the math on the upgrades, and if you're playing through in a normal progression, especially your first time, the likelihood that you'll have a maxed out ice bomb, I think, is almost impossible. But even if you do, it's still pretty balanced because you can't like tee off on them with a full arsenal.
Yeah.
So it really didn't imbalance it, and really what it does is it just properly teaches players the value of ice bomb. I think from playing Taras Nabad Master Level, from playing all of the DLCs, you guys all know I would put ice bomb in the category of if you know how to use it, you can hang with the hardest content, and if you try to play the hardest content and you're not using it, it'll teach you how to use it. So, and I think this little small tweak to the Doom Hunter for new players, because we have new players coming in all the time.
Yep.
I think he's going to do a good job of teaching people the value of ice bomb without necessarily imbalancing it.
Totally. Speaking of, so we have the full range of players out there. Of course, we're on PC and console Game Pass. So if you haven't already grabbed that, what are you doing? I think it's like $1 for the first 3 months. What are we doing? Speaking of, it's funny because of all the nutty players we have, again, I'm going to give another shout out to Swan Song, not only because of what I'm about to say, but also the next question is from him, which is interesting because he's pulling questions. There's a question from him. How does that work? But before we get to that, he does crazy runs.
Rigged.
Like the whole thing's rigged. Sorry, guys, it's all rigged. You already knew. And let me guess, YouTube's going to say it's balls. But what I was going to say is he does nutty runs where he'll challenge himself and do like an Ultra Nightmare, but he'll do no ice bomb. So like that is just another one of those crazy bars that, again, when you get the craziest drivers or pilots in the seat, you just start making up new rules. You're like, Ultra Nightmare is fun and challenging, but what if I didn't use BFG, I didn't use Ice Bomb, I didn't use XYZ? So speaking of, the question is coming from Swan Song. This is for Billy. Billy, awesome job on RTX in the DLSS update for you and the team. Can you talk any more about future rendering technologies that you're excited about?
I mean, there's so much stuff. First of all, it's not just me; it's the whole team. It's people like Thiago and Axel and Jean, Bogdan and Ishan and Philip, and the list goes on and on. Doing an amazing job. And then, of course, we all worked very hard together on that. When it comes to future technology, obviously, we want to look into making everything more dynamic, getting more secondary animation in the world, making the world feel more alive. And it's all about making the pixels look better, right? We've gotten to the point where our resolution is really high. We have 4K, 8K monitors. Now we need to just stay and focus on making each pixel count, and making it improve the lighting there. And that goes across light scattering, volumetrics. Just our game is so heavy on particles. We need to take that to 11 and make particles even more crazy. And just have more of that we can have more of those on screen. There are lots of areas to focus on, but I would say that lighting and effects is probably my top of the list because they're fun to work on.
Yeah, for sure. All right, rapid fire. I'm gonna do person by person here. This is a
Wait, I have one thing to say.
Hit it.
By the way, chat, with you guys know in the patch notes with UAC Atlantica, we put it back to what it was, in particular the original. Some of the tweaks we left as is, but for the most part, it's back to what you guys wanted. I think I said this several times. There are small moments throughout DLC 1 that we just objectively were trolly, hiding tentacles in smoke and fog, along with pus pods and everything else. Like, the way that our top players were beating that on Nightmare was with exploits, jumping on the top of that pillar and things. So there is a couple of things that we left, and we can agree to disagree on some of those. But for the most part, I mean, we put back UAC Atlantica. So rejoice.
That's right.
Rejoice. Make videos about it.
Yeah.
Upvote. Go crazy.
Exactly.
But
Please
yeah,
and thank you.
we but I'm pretty excited to say that Blood Swan Possessed Baron will come back. I don't know, John, Mega Game Priming, because like come on, imagine, just here's the deal, imagine you're playing through it for the first time. I know that we think it's awesome, I think it's awesome, Josh thinks it's awesome, but imagine you're going through Blood Swamps for the first time playing the DLC. You make a right, and the first spirit you encounter is 2 barons and one of them is possessed, because the baron possessed is the hardest thing in the game.
Yeah.
So like, come on, and there's no geo in there for you to even hide. So
There's
I get it.
Only the 2 layers in that one key
Yeah, like,
ball. Yeah.
Black belts savor it and they love
Right.
it and I love it, but
Right.
that's not how you introduce stuff. Now there was a little bug where it was going into an imp. That was a mistake. I believe that was hit, and it's going properly into the Hell Knight chat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Play it. Let me know if you guys think it's going into the Hell Knight. But yeah, that was mostly not that it was too hard. It was if you go to the right and that's your first.
That's your first spirit, because otherwise the first one you would experience would be in the the Slayer gate for UAC. But yeah.
Exactly. So Malagog cube sounds are buggy loud for some reason. I don't know. Okay, we'll check it out.
We'll have to look at
but yeah, we'll take a look at it. And
this question's coming from.
what is?
Go ahead.
I'm seeing map music bug. What is map music bug? Is
Map
that
music
that,
bug? Yeah, I already
Did
talked
that
to
get
QA. It didn't get hit. We thought it got hit. It's getting hit next time. It's essentially, here's the weird thing about this. Here's the reason it didn't get hit in this. It actually did, but it only The bug is the map music. If you switch to the map and you switch out, sometimes it's like you consistently hear the idle like map music. The weird thing about this bug is it's dependent on your save state. So if you start a brand new game right now in the save state, the bug doesn't exist. But if you're replaying a map like a lot of us do that are in this chat right now, probably, like whether you're playing like whatever campaign level you've already played, then you will have the same thing. We missed that this time. We'll hit it next time. So yeah, it's still there, but only if you're not playing on a new save state. So if it really pisses you off, guess what? Start a new save game. Let's go. Get in there. No issues. But again, there's just so many, 11 platforms. We keep adding content. Like, just like Billy, Marty, and Hugo were saying, you touch one thing, it affects 8 million things after it. So it's just about our amazing QA team and all of our amazing designers and programmers and artists going through and going, okay, so if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. How do we test 8 million places on all the different platforms? And it's a process. So
people are asking about the BFG crash. Pink Crayon, where the BFG crash?
Where are you seeing that? On which platform?
Can the Pink Crayon, or anybody else speak to the BFG crash that I saw pop up a couple times here?
Can the pink crown in the box please step forward and let us know where that BFG is happening? Where? No. PC. Okay. PC seems to be the platform. It's a thing since always. Okay. Well, we've seen some of these, and I know that they've been triaged for some fixes, but double arch file
PC.
section and master level is what Arrhythmia is saying. Okay. Which is interesting because it's hard to do that fight without it. So send us some
you
clips.
have to.
Yeah. Send us clips.
Send us the clips. Send us crash dumps. Join the Spicy Demons chat. Talk to us.
Yep.
Tell us the repro how and then what's really important is we need to know. What is your setup?
steps,
What driver are you on? What card are you using? Et cetera, et cetera. Because some of these things are just there's so many combinations on a PC to try out, and sometimes they're kind of elusive to reproduce. But once we can reproduce this, we squash them.
That's right.
Like we squashed a Baron.
Yeah, so for sure. I mean, most of you guys already know, but if you don't, join the official Doom Discord. That's discord.gg/Doom. And then you'll see Tokyo Punch-Out, that's me, up there. Send me your DX diag. Send me the steps you do to reproduce a crash, especially if you can get it consistently. Send me a video clip. If you send me all 3 of those things, that's the easiest way to get it into the pipeline to our QA team that is amazing, and we'll start working on it, and we can go from there. But it's just like the same thing we were talking about before. If something sucks, okay, why? How? Show us.
Yep. Yeah, we want to know. We want to fix all those things.
Yeah,
we don't want that stuff out there.
Exactly. All right.
It makes us very sad.
Question for Marty. Who is the best Doom Eternal player in the office? This is from user 407TX.
Who's the best Doom Eternal in the office player? Probably. It's a good question. Maybe.
Tough to say.
It office.
Doug. I mean, Duggan's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Hugo's. I gotta hand it. I mean, Hugo's up there.
If we're putting tonight's performance on there, yeah, I'd say it's.
Yeah, I mean, I would put him in the top few for sure.
In all of gaming, pretty much.
Yes.
Not so much.
No,
That's
we
right.
have lots of black belts, but probably among the hyper elites, Duggan and like.
And now we got Cronin in there for doing battle
Now we have
mode.
Cronin. So
Cronin. Actually, yeah. That's
Josh. I mean, Josh as a member of our team is definitely like top tier.
I would say Jean too. I mean, the video, video we had.
Sean's a beast.
Who's the animator who does the tests for us? Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Yes, Chris Quintero.
Yeah.
He's exceptional too.
Yeah, he's really good.
We should call out Jean though, because I don't know that people know that Jean is one of our big brain elite programmers, and he, like when you watch the NVIDIA footage, he's usually the one that plays. I mean, what a cool testament right there. I mean, like one of the best players in the office is one of the programmers, one of our top engine programmers, and when we show off the game, it's him playing as opposed to some hired gun, that's just playing the game all the time. I mean, it's literally. It's Jean. It's amazing. So yeah, and that's been the case for the last 2 big NVIDIA videos that we've done with them. So
I mean, it sounds like the answer is there's a lot of black belts just walking amongst us. So
there are.
It's a good bar to have. People. Yeah, it makes sense. This one's coming from Shadbolt001. Question for Hugo or anyone. Will the tech like ray tracing influence any design going forward?
That would be a better Tony and Billy question.
Yeah.
Tony, Billy, Jason Martin, those guys, they get crazy about that shit. So like, I'm mostly just stunned, like, hey, make it look awesome. There's a level of technical expertise, that like the fans, I mean, I'm just blown away. So I think I don't know that it would influence it any more than I think the leads and Tony and the guys will just push to make sure that everything takes advantage of it as much as possible.
Speaking of, go ahead. Billy.
Can you hear my son screaming his head off?
No.
Because he is. He's going crazy.
I don't believe you.
He definitely is.
I was just gonna say that. I mean, we can use that stuff not only for visual stuff too. So the hope is to leverage that for gameplay. I really want to find some neat ways of using that for gameplay or for emergent stuff that we haven't, like new stuff that may not just be visuals. There's some neat ideas, especially when it comes to like imagine using it for sound reverb or proper assuming that the whole level, for example, is mapped out with the proper materials and how does sound traverse through the level, and using ray tracing to figure that out. There are lots of cool things in the audio fields and in the visuals and on the gameplay space.
The ballista splash damage, Beast of the East, is part of that thing that I talked about with the PB. It's that the damage is getting blocked by something, so we're looking into that.
Yeah. Beast of the East
as
is a great
we speak.
name, by the way. This is a question for Billy coming from Hugo Steiglitz. I don't know, man. I'm trying my best here on the names.
Are you trolling me again?
It could be. Here's the question.
I see him texting right there.
I know, this is him. So this is a question from
what
Hugo
are you doing?
to Billy in chat. Were there any settings like textures, shaders, etc. improved on Series X/PS5 compared to last gen console versions?
Oh yeah, there's a whole slew of things. Like we cranked up a lot of settings. You know, there are cases where the decals, for example, are more detailed, or in some cases we use multi-material blending that we weren't able to do. Just generally, settings across the board have been bumped up, so you see higher image quality when it comes to texture resolution. You see, just higher geometric detail. All those things are bumped up, and the thing is, all the 3 modes we added on the consoles. I mean, on the PC we already have that luxury, right? But on the consoles, I mean, if you play balanced mode, you get that awesome crisp 4K image quality and all these nice setting boosts, and then if ray tracing, you get the new way of lighting things, and then that emergent gameplay that comes with that. And then if you really want to get into it and want to play Atlantica on like a hardest Ultra Nightmare level, whatever, then you need that 120 hertz. And the funny thing is 120 hertz. Some of those techniques we have, they get computed over multiple frames. So when you run at 120 hertz, some of those visual calculations to actually converge faster, and you get a speed because of the speed. You get actually enhanced visual quality there too. So I would say all 3 modes have enhanced looks that are subtle but should be noticeable for all the expert players that are out there.
That's awesome. I'm going to skip right to this question because it's just such a sweetheart rhetorical question, but I'm going to give a shout out to T-Matrix, our just buddy from the Friday Night Fights, from keeping the lights on for battle mode content on YouTube since day 0. So the question is, are all of you aware how incredibly unique and fun battle mode is compared to the majority of competitive experiences? Legit the best game mode I've ever played, hands down. Most fun I've had in gaming, period. He threw a period at the end of there. He typed it out. Typed out a period. Shout out to T-Matrix. Thanks, bud. Next one is coming.
Thank you, T-Matrix.
Right?
Thank you.
Here's a
that means a lot.
It really does. Yeah. T-Matrix, keep on being a tomato. We love
and
it.
Yeah, and thank you for the Friday Night Fight stuff and everything is amazing.
Yeah, he made an awesome video about the Doom tubers and influencers too. So T-Matrix is a big part of the battle mode community, has been since the beginning.
That's right.
And that group over there is a good group.
They are. A bunch of good eggs and tomatoes. This one's coming from Righteous Lot. This is a good softball one. Will there be an Ultimate Edition of Doom Eternal with all of the DLCs included for Xbox Series X? There already is. It is the Deluxe Edition, which has the free upgrade to whatever version you happen to be on. So even if the Deluxe Edition doesn't seem like it's a Series X version, it is, because the last gen versions all get next gen upgrades. Isn't it weird, Marty? We talked about this. Next gen is right now. Isn't it now gen?
Yeah, it's the current gen. Yeah.
You start talking about it.
As soon as it launches, it's current gen.
Right.
I don't understand that. You know, it doesn't make sense to me.
Like,
we got to come up with something.
We do, because last gen makes sense, right? Like that was the generation before the generation now. But next gen, I'm like, what are we? Isn't it now? Now gen.
Yeah.
Current gen.
Right.
Okay.
Current gen.
Yes.
All right.
The gen has been out there for 6 months, 8 months, and we're still calling it next gen.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah.
That's fair. Let's see.
That's a good point. Chip shortage keeps it as next gen since it's not accessible yet. I like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's true. They're hard to get. Manufacturing in COVID, just like developing in COVID, not easy. So maybe it still is next gen for a lot of people. That's totally fair and valid.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that is not softball in a way that I don't think we have time for. What about this one? Question. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This is gimme tacos _ which they're already asking for a lot and they're asking the right questions. But the question is, can we get a new game plus where we can play through the campaign with all of our weapons? I mean, we kind of already do in the sense that you can replay anything. And when you replay it on that save file that you've beaten it at, you already have it. But I think maybe what they mean, I'm interpreting, the new game plus typically has increased difficulty. And so if you haven't played it at Nightmare, just up the difficulty on that, which you can do, I think, through the menu after you load it, even on a save that you have beaten at whatever difficulty you've beaten it at. Which now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, isn't that a thing you can do? I can't remember. But you can always go back and obviously replay anything you've played with your full kit after you've beaten the campaign, but not sure if you can switch the difficulty. Chat will know. Chat, help me. Is that true? Can you up the difficulty? Like, let's say you beat it on whatever, I'm Too Young to Die, the whole campaign. Can you go back and play a level and then up the difficulty in that level? I can't remember. Doomslayer is saying yes.
I think you can change the difficulty anytime. Yeah, I don't think the difficulty
Just
ever
pause and
locks
change
you
the
out.
difficulty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting a lot of confirmation. It feels good. Okay. So give me tacos. I can't give you tacos, but we can give you New Game Plus because it's already in there. Boom. Done. Next question. This one's coming from Waller ESP3. The question is, can you please add the feature to share save files from PS4 game to PS5 game? I don't think we can. I can't remember why. I know it's a technical thing, and I know that not every developer does it for different reasons. I can't remember if it's because of the fact that it's like different products. I know it's not easy. And maybe it's even a first-party thing. I don't remember.
It's kind of a combination.
Yeah.
It's kind of a combination of a first party SDK thing and then some tech on our side.
Yeah.
That makes it real problematic.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the good thing is all
it's
of your
not ideal.
No, but
For
all your
sure.
cosmetics come over, which is cool because you're still on
all
the
your,
same
all
platform.
Your
Yeah.
progression there.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's good. Speaking of which, Oh Slay Can You See is live right now. It's the new in-game event just in time for Independence Day. And that, if you don't live in America, just go watch the movie. It'll explain everything you need to know about Independence Day because Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum will save the world every time you watch that movie from Aliens. Easy.
That is an amazing skin.
Yeah, that Patriot Slayer. Ooh boy. A lot of freedom going on in that. Sparklers.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
I love the spark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very funny.
Okay, I got a specific request coming from Hugo for this one. This one's from Chubbies, and it's Chubbies like chub, and then bees like the insect as one word. Hugo, could you as he yawns, could you please say welcome to the fun zone for my little brother Jonathan? I introduced him to Doom Eternal a few weeks ago. He's on Ultraviolence now, and he just really wants to hear you say that.
What's his name?
Jonathan.
Welcome to the fun zone, Jonathan. Brought to you by id Software. Enjoy yourself. The fun zone. Go to the deep end of the pool. Go to Nightmare. Go through your Ultraviolence, and then once you do, know that there's even more fun in the zone waiting for you on the harder difficulties. And then do the DLCs. I mean, there's lots. And then the master levels. It's there's lots of compilation videos of me on YouTube now where I am deep into the fun zone and expressing myself very, very casually. And so, yeah, enjoy. We're glad you're there with us, buddy.
Welcome, Jonathan. Welcome. He's got his toe wet. He's got a good big brother. He's got good advice there. He's got everything he needs. All right. This is coming from Matthew Frank, which has got to be from YouTube because that is a full name. And this is a question for Marty. Marty, since we don't get you on very often, what keeps you personally creatively driven at id?
Hugo.
Wait, what was the question? I was reading chat.
He's like,
what
wait.
keeps me personally creatively driven?
I like that. Hugo's like, was that a compliment? Hit it again. What was it? One more time. I want to feel good.
No, it's definitely intended to be a compliment.
Yeah.
No, I honestly, if you can't be, frankly, I'll be really honest. To a certain extent, you know, there's times where I have to be less creatively driven, which is hard because in my role as kind of executive producer and studio director, there's a lot that is outside of honestly most of what I do is outside of the day-to-day creative, or even high level creative to some extent. Hugo and I talk every day. He's the best creative that I think we've ever had at the studio.
Thank you.
And absolutely. So, but at the same time, I think across the entire team, we're also the best we've ever been creatively. Whether that's art or animation or design, on the programming side. Hold on.
Switching audio. I like it. It's like you're getting even more personal
That
because
sounds
your audio
amazing.
switched.
What did you just do?
He
That
took off his
sounded better.
headphones.
I just swapped headphones.
Yeah.
So you can hear okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
So again, with the entire team, it's impossible to not be creatively inspired when you're at the office. Literally, like that's you. In what I do, I have to kind of pull back at times just so I do I do the things that need to be done that aren't as creative, that are more on the studio side or the production side, the team management side.
That's creative, just in a different way. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, making games is tough, and everybody works just an immense amount, but there's just not a better place in the world to be. I mean, I love technology. I love creativity, and the people when you bring the the farthest right brain and the farthest left brain together and create something the way we do, there's just nothing more rewarding than that. So that's what's inspiring to me more than more than any element of creativity, for sure.
And our kids, somebody's, we got to keep it going. Francis Ford Coppola had a really good quote about that when he saw young creatives who said they didn't want to have kids because they thought it would slow them down creatively speaking. He's like, if you want to be motivated, have some kids in a 1-bedroom apartment. He's like, you're gonna get pretty inspired.
That makes sense. You got to put the wine on the table. We're going to plug Francis Ford Coppola's wine. We're going to get the sponsorship going. We already got Pop-Tarts. We got a couple other. We're going to get him on that ropes too. Here's a question for Billy. This is coming from Chris N. Question for Billy. Why does a higher frame rate give us speed boost? Like kind of going back into what you were talking about before.
Speed boost, one sense on the player movement or something else?
Yeah, because I think you were talking about when you were saying when you were talking about the frame rates being increased, and that actually gives an increase to like rendering and what you could do with like 120 FPS, 120 hertz. Yeah.
When it comes to movement, it's just because the physics. The intention is everything is dialed into 60 frames per second, right? And we have to run the physics at a high frame rate. So when we run at those higher frame rates, we can be more accurate. So all your physics are a little bit more accurate as well. When it comes to the temporal solutions, we have all that means is like over many frames we accumulate this data and then it converges faster, so we get the results faster in that regard. But that's on the visual side. When it comes to the physics, though, in some cases it's forces being added together in a certain way that kind of give you that boost, and it's a bug in some of those cases. In other cases, it's the code, just the instability in the stimulation, and in some cases, it's intentional. It really depends which piece you're talking about. We had a case where like you could jump. A lot of speedrunners were doing this. They would go to the edge, and they would jump, and then it would get launched into the air. That was a bug.
Right.
That's not intentional, right? So,
right. Where you could just launch off of surfaces.
Yeah.
Like that.
So. And there might be the things we need to tweak to dial that in a little bit better for those specific cases.
So, Marty, you got a shout out from, who's this from? Where is it? God, I've lost it. There's so many questions. Oh, here we go. This is from Robbie Dude 1800. I like this. It's a compliment question sandwich, which is one of my favorite kinds of sandwiches. So, question: will there ever be a co-op campaign for Doom Eternal? And then here's the compliment sandwich. Here's the bread on the outside. Also, Marty's hair is looking fresh.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Everybody loves Marty's hair.
I'm telling you, it's the thing of beauty.
I actually got a cut, and I'm very unhappy because she cut too much off. So
No.
Was your hair ever like that as a growing up, or is this like obviously probably when you were a kid, but like when you're in high school or college or anything?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I had the shameless soccer. So I was in high school in the 80s. So
oh, you had the soccer hair.
Yeah, I wasn't even born. Yeah, so I had the 80s soccer hair, which was the very bad mullet. So yeah, my hair was long in high school. But
is any mullet truly bad though? Because I feel like all that's come full circle at this point, right?
Yeah, mullets are in. I think they are.
That's unfortunate.
I'm trying to recreate the emo haircut that I had when I first started it. If you can't tell with the craziness that's going on.
Yeah, yours is really long.
I feel like the pandemic has really given us like the full
It's like
license
a hair
on that.
freedom, man. Yeah.
Whatever, man.
I don't have to see anybody fuck my hair, man. I'm just gonna
like
go.
for the first couple months, you're like, it's actually very dangerous for me to get this haircut, so it's gonna go. It's gonna do what it wants to do. Finally.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
I run into people when I'm out. That's the problem. I've learned that, like, because I have so many Doom shirts, and I'm wearing the Doom shirt, and occasionally I will. It's Texas, so like, Texas is a really cool place. Whenever we would go out, all of us, normally if you wore a Doom shirt, people would kind of, because it's been here a long time, and I think the people here are proud of it that that Doom and id come from Texas. So like, but now, like everybody said, the hairs. During the middle of the pandemic, the hair, the beard, the non, you're in your pajamas. I'm gonna run to the store, and then I run into somebody, and just like, oh man, like
back in the day, the Doom shirt used to get you out of speeding tickets in Mesquite.
Right.
where our offices were in Mesquite, a small town east of Dallas. And man, if you were wearing a Doom shirt or you had something Doom and you're like, and you worked at id, you were pretty golden with the police, because
not so much with Dallas, huh?
There were some big donors. No, Dallas. No, you had to do your speeding in Mesquite.
Right.
Yeah.
That Domino's there was awesome.
We've had a couple of instances, Marty, where like we've gotten little first class treatment getting into like a restaurant or a bar when we would all go out. And then sometimes where we would say something like, hey, we work on Doom, and they'd be like, it's good for you. Anyway, get back in line. Like, they don't care at all.
They're like, that game came out in 1993. You're like, first of all, how do you know that and remember that? Second of all, we've made a couple more of those recently, so you might want to check. That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
I never answered the first part of that question.
That's true.
Compliment sandwich, whatever. About co-op. There's not a plan to do co-op, right? I don't think we'll ever land a co-op for Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
It's just we've experimented with it. I think Hugo's talked about it before. We even experimented with stuff way years ago, right after 2016, and just the movement, the way you feel when you play the game is just it's a very solo feeling. And
it's an Eddie Van Halen solo. There ain't no room for anybody else on that stage.
I wasn't going to steal your quote, but I'm glad you said it, because it's a very good analogy.
Yeah, and it feels bad when somebody's up there with you. That's what happens every time we tried it, right? It's just like
Yeah.
get off the stage. Like I was gonna glory kill that guy. Get the hell out of here.
Right.
Well, and especially with, it was one thing with 2016, but I also think it kind of the way Doom Eternal pushes into the resource management, it makes it even more like just it just doesn't feel right when you want something, you want it, you know how to get it, and you know you choose your moments. It's when you take a thinking game and then you put somebody else kind of interrupting what you're trying to do and how you're trying to think, it just doesn't feel right.
And everybody knows too. Yeah, totally. On the highest level, the target acquisition, the split second decisions you're making, and then that demon you were gonna do the thing to explodes, and you're just like, dude, you know, like it felt consistently feels terrible every time we try it.
Also, I mean, the amount of work you guys have done with AI, with the flow of the game, with the fun zone as it is, the idea of trying to balance that for adding another unstoppable force in the game just seems impossible to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's all built around you being the focus of everything, as far as the demons, as far as
And the guys know, everybody says this. Look, there's challenge and there's black belt stuff, but then there's like, look, we're guilty of this. It happens. You know, you see it sometimes with the mods. Sometimes when there's just too many guys, it doesn't feel smart. It just feels like, you know, well, here's 7 barons. You know, like you can't really move. You collide with things. It is. It's just like the refinement of the whole experience. It just feels it just feels off when you the amount of AI that you would have to put in there to account for the power of 2, you know, slayers flying around, especially 2 good ones. It'd be a mess. Imagine like Zan and like Arrhythmia, or like Arrhythmia and Bloodshot. You know, like I mean,
you'd almost have to just have to be co-op with like kill count, and that would have to be the reason, because it'd just be like stealing everything from each other the whole time.
Well, that's actually because we empower the player so much, as Marty said. You end up stealing things from other people. It feels terrible. That's what feels terrible about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you have been misled. Great username. The question is, what is the logo on Hugo's shirt?
This is what people tell me is Gas Monkey, which is like a bar grill music place. People always ask me, can I be honest? I got this at Target. So like, yeah. People are like, hey, Gas Monkey. And I'm like, I know what Gas Monkey is. I mean, we went there once for like some event.
Yeah.
And it's a cool place. You know, it's kind of like a rock and roll, you know, motorcycle kind of bar and grill place, and they have like a large venue where they do music. I know. So, yes, this is a Target. I believe it is a Target shirt. I don't know. Yeah,
Target is the center of the pop cultural world.
That's right. We all know it. And if you don't believe it, the question is from you have been misled. So this is a loop. It's an infinite loop.
At 44 with 3 kids, Target. That's where
spot.
my shop. That is where I shop, buddy.
Well, thank you guys.
You get to shop by yourself?
Shout out to Toad Pack Shacker. I don't know how you say that, but it calls out living in Mesquite across from the Big Black Cube.
Oh, damn.
Which is pretty awesome. That is not. I mean, these days, not a lot of people know about the Big Black Cube, but it was, man.
Do it.
90s video game.
Yeah.
It was just so iconic, man. You hear so many stories of people like visiting it and driving down the flat freeway, or the flat horizon, driving down the freeway into Mesquite, and you just see the black cube on the horizon, and you're like, that's it. So it was so cool. It was so imposing.
Yeah.
You go up to Suite 666, you walk in the door, Miss Donna's behind the desk with a big Doom Tube demon poster behind her, and oh man, it was awesome. So that's
the company.
Fantastic.
I've told Marty this several times. Like what made it cool, it was so mysterious. I mean, the website wasn't really like a big thing, and like even during the Rage days, I would check the website. It was just brown. It was clearly like not really updated. Like it just added to the mystique. Like you didn't know what was going on in there. You know, other than the fact that they were, you know, trailblazing left and right, like with everything they did. So like, yeah, I think there was a mystique about all of it.
And it was just as awesome behind the scenes, honestly. I before I got hired by it in 2000, I was a producer at Activision and was their producer. So I'd come down, once every couple months, and this is in the late '90s, So I mean, it was awesome because you'd go back and it's just like, I mean, just the stories of the weight room, not even a weight room. I mean, it was just like a bench and a heavy bag, and right next to that was the Quake 3 master server, which was just a PC laid open on this table with a network cable plugged into it. And it's like a folding table. And it's an open box, and I mean, it's crazy. You'd be like, what's that? Oh, it's the Quake 3 master server. You're like, how about throwing this shit in a rack or something, man? It's like,
Nah.
The table's good.
it was so cool. It's still fun to think about that stuff, and I still like it because there's still some of that. I don't know. There's still some of that attitude and independence, and we've changed a lot over the years, but there's still a little bit of that DNA in the company when it comes to the resourcefulness and the scrappiness and just the way people solve problems and get stuff done. It's still alive and well at the company. So I love hearing about the Black Cube because it brings back a lot of memories.
Somebody said, "Holy crap, Marty worked with Carmack." Marty's worked with all of them, I think. Like
not quite. There's a few at the original. I never worked with Romero. He was gone right before I got there. And some of the really early ones, Tom Hall, Jay Wilbur, but a lot. It's been
Kevin is the
tons
longest.
of respect.
He's the one who's been there from day one.
Kevin Cloud.
Worked with Adrian. Learned so much from all of them. I mean, really, it's been such just so much respect for what they built, the way they did it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there's still fun games to this day, right? I mean, Quake
Absolutely.
1, I played Quake 2 single player and Quake 1 single player to get ready for Eternal, and it just reminder like this is still so good. Like, and obviously the original Doom, like just all of it, which is kind of amazing. Like, sincerely still good, like awesome, that, however long that's been is remarkable.
It is.
How long has that been? 1993. What's the math on
more than 25 years because the 25th anniversary was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we're like 28.
Yeah.
Can you hear that? Because someone's calling my son.
Yeah, I thought it was me.
All right, it's done.
I was like, oh shit.
Son.
Okay.
It's my son getting called for his games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, that is a long time. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
but you guys still have the same. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say you have the same perfect batitude that still exists in everything that we do at id. It's just maybe less like doors with axes through them or whatever. Like we're keeping the doors in place.
I've been there for 8 years, so I don't know that I'm a new guy, but it reminds me. I always compare it to Disney, like because there's a legacy, right? So people grow up as a fan of Disney. There's a certain mystique about Disney. So when you go there, you're that next generation or whatever you're contributing to it. There's the legacy, like you have to live up to it. There's a sort of a standard of excellence when you walk in the door, and everybody thinks like that. Is like who works there, who comes there. I mean, I think people come. We're not just like a game studio. I think people come to id to work at id. So it's really cool in that regard. I think so. Probably why, as Marty said, we still maintain some of that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, with that, go ahead.
Somebody keeps asking how you get in the industry, and Swansong, I think it was Swansong, said send in a resume. Certainly, like the level of passion for Doom, our games, is first and foremost. But it's I mean, Billy can talk about programming, but they asked about portfolio. Yes, like the more work you do, the better off. If it's working with a team on a mod or working on your own personal project, I'm always the most impressed with just incredible personal work, whether that's art or animation or programming. somebody comes in and I wrote my own engine, or I've written my own game, even if it's like, not that great, but that initiative to take it on and solve the problems that need to be solved, and find fun and all of that, work with others, putting together a mod, that's the way to do it. And then programming wise, math maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say
I've sat through a few Billy interviews, and I wouldn't get hired, that's for sure.
sometimes I wonder if I would get hired again.
You got to nerf these questions, Billy.
That's right.
That's so true. I think that all the time. Like when we're interviewing people, I'm like, man, we are a tough crowd. You guys are like, my goodness.
No, I think one of the key things that can help anyone, it doesn't matter what department, is take one thing and just finish that thought out completely. Like, take it from nothing to completion. And don't worry about the quality. Just take one thing and finish it all the way. Because, sometimes it's not always about quality or amount of work. It's just knowing the path to start something and finishing it, and the tribulations that you just finish that marathon. Once you start that 5K, finish it. Doesn't matter if it took you 4 hours. Just finish it, because that sense of accomplishment you feel is probably one of the best feelings you ever have. And then everything else we can teach you.
Yeah, I would say also persistence with applying. We're like any other company. We got a lot of stuff coming in and out of the building, and so like sometimes it's just keep trying. Don't stop sending in your stuff.
And I'll put the links
that
right
absolutely happens
on chat. So
yeah, we're hiring.
Yeah, and Hugo, what's your analogy? My favorite one about the paintings. Hit it.
You gotta. I don't remember. You are 1,000 shitty paintings away from being a good artist. So hurry up and start making shitty paintings.
That's it.
That's how you should look at it. Which is kind of Billy's analogy, which is like, because if you think of it that way, you will finish your projects. You won't get caught up like, well, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. Like it ain't gonna be perfect. Just go finish it and let it be a finished mediocre thing, and go make the next finished mediocre thing. But like, I think you bail on stuff because you're worried about like, don't just keep going.
Yeah, get the reps in. Get the reps in. Do the sparring, like in jiu-jitsu. The more you're on the mat, the better you get. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Sooner or later, will click. Or in soccer, kick that ball 50 times against the wall. After 1,000 times, you'll be really good at kicking the ball. It's crucial. The reps are huge.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a hashtags gains is the answer. I like that.
That's right.
Gains, yes.
It's true.
Lean gains is what we need.
Lean gains. Gains makes games. Shit. Well, I just wanted to say from everybody, first of all, everybody that's in chat, thank you guys. It looks like YouTube. Nope, we're still on it. We've got the B word just going as strong as ever. Oh, we've even got an X50 on one of them, so that's a thing we can do. Beard gains. Thank you, Nantrol. Beard gains strong. So thank you, everybody that's in chat, for being here. And
I love how we're having this very good, positive, inspiring conversation over here. And I'm reading the Twitch, and they're like, "Thanks a lot, guys." And on YouTube, it's just him and his guys like balls, like just typing it repeatedly.
Gains balls, gains balls. Just like yep.
It's wrong. Come on, him. Call off your dogs. Just stop it. We're trying to do a show.
Oh man.
The bot at this point,
that's right. There's gotta be. It's crazy.
Just like the game, the chat is eternal. So thank all of you guys for being here. We love you guys. Thank you to Hugo, Marty, and Billy. It's been awesome to have everybody on today. It's one of those things, again, just like work from home. It's like doing these fun things like streams. It's awesome for us to just make the time to sit here and hang out and reminisce and answer all these amazing questions from chat. And Doomslayer 699 keeps asking, where did I get my hat? Billy and I just talked about that before the stream. There are two shops. There is the gear shop for Bethesda in North America, and there is the one in EU. This one's from the EU, but they do ship worldwide. So I'll throw a link in chat after we wrap this up.
And just for the record, like after he said that, he trolls me to get on the stream and wears the hat.
That's true. He's like, I really want that hat. I was like,
you want this?
He wasn't even wearing it before.
This is the hat you want? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear it now.
Yeah, because you weren't wearing it when we first got on, right?
Yeah, I gotta. Chad expects a certain amount of swag to show up, and I
That's
have
right.
to meet that order. And everybody
right.
never wants me to
It
take my
was.
hat off, so I won't. So I have to keep it
Yeah,
on. I have to bring it every stream.
Billy said that was very trolly. Billy said, like, they should make a hat with the Slayer symbol, and you were like, here it is.
You're like, they already did.
Guess what? You
And
suck.
you can't have it.
I was like, you want this right here? Just reach into your TV. But yeah, I threw the chat. On,
It just
on both.
shows how cool Joshua is and how he gets all the swag. I mean, it's awesome.
Look, if I can't,
That was classic. That was awesome.
well, I'll take it. And then it's just one of those things. Again, it's like everything that we have in Eternal. It's all the community. It's all the reflection that you can see in ray tracing of the Slayer staring back at you. It's because of you guys, man. So thanks everybody for being here tonight. It's been awesome. It's really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you all.
Fun.
Really,
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
It
much.
was a nice
Awesome.
change of pace where it's not me where we're counting the F-bombs and I'm getting destroyed. So like
You know what else is funny is Hugo, somehow when we didn't do that, you just absolutely crushed gameplay tonight. I don't know what the hell happened.
Doom Hunter with a full kit is not. Come on,
Okay,
we're like
okay, that's what
we
it
are
was.
in the upper stratosphere of insanity right now. Just let chat know. Like Taras Nabad, that's definitely coming. I am going away for a little bit. I'm taking a family vacay.
Okay, there you
But,
go. Because it sounded really ominous when you said that, but then family vacay tied it into good. That's good.
Yes,
Like
yes,
I'm going
we're
away
gonna-
for a bit. It's like, wait, what?
We're gonna go see the in-laws in New Jersey.
Nice.
But
You're from New York?
Yes.
I couldn't tell.
from the jerseys and but we will be doing Taras Nabad for sure.
Have a pie for me when you're out there, please.
Ooh,
I know.
God.
I'm excited.
Please. That's like it's a drought over here of pies.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
same over here. Well, and also don't forget, when we come back, we not only come back stronger than ever by doing all of the new Master Level Taras Nabad on Nightmare, Big Gen X Energy, Inverted Controller, Xbox Elite Series 2 for the win, but then we do Hugo Martin in battle mode versus Chat the week after that. So
That's right.
that's going to be extra
You're
spicy.
all going
He'll be
down.
the most out of practice ever.
No, I'm gonna be relentless. I'm gonna destroy all of them.
That's right. You heard it here first. So if you want to see the schedule, again, slayersclub.com is your place to go for all things, patch notes, fan art, just everything, including the schedule of these things. So make sure you set your calendars, get your Pop-Tarts, get your coffee, get your beverages, and just enjoy between now and then.
The
Go ahead,
cat.
Marty.
Cat. I love the
Wait,
chat
Hugo
reaction
cat.
to cat.
There's
Oh
a
my
cat
God.
somewhere.
Aw.
Are they in the room?
I see a new addition to the van.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
And,
I know. Jack Bone, where are you at? Where's this cat? I don't know if the cat was featured.
I got my cat.
Oh, damn, guest appearance. Look at that regal beast. What's the name of this,
So
this cat?
fluffy.
Oh my god, my butt crack wasn't just on the screen, was it?
Well, chat will tell us. We'll see.
Marty will tell me the truth. Did that just happen, Marty? Do we have to?
I don't think so. I was kind of looking
You
down
took
at the
pictures.
chat.
Don't worry about it.
You're not wearing pants again, is that right? That's good.
I'm not. This is Sprinkles, and the dog is Ginger, and at my advanced stage, I'm constantly like Cupcake, Sprinkles. I screw them up all the time. She's awesome. She doesn't really like. This is about as much as I get, which is the
It's
look
pretty
of
good.
like, can you please put me down now? And
She's like, are
so
you
just-
finished? Is this over?
Yeah, exactly. Which really
Sprinkles.
makes you pine.
Are you okay? Oh, took the headset off. Nice.
It. Which makes you pine for their affection.
Yep,
That
that's
they
how it
don't
works.
give it. They give you like a little bit, and then you want more of it.
Love
Okay,
it.
total, whatever you call that. But I digress. Back on track here. We're closing
No,
out the
Sprinkles
show.
is where I was hoping this would end, so I think we got there, maybe. I think we got
Okay.
introduced to Sprinkles or Cupcakes or whatever the hell you call her. Thanks to everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. And again, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks for Taras Nabad Master Level. Until then, we'll see you guys on streams. Laters.
Thank you all.
Yeah,
See you later.
It was
Bye-bye.
fun. Thank you.